had to say. Andre Dickens, he replied back to them. He wasn't feeling what they said, so we're gonna listen to what the mayor had to say back to Earn Your Leisure. Yeah, we can use this clip.
But radio to talk about ATL, like that sounds backwards. And then if you think you're trying to start a bidding war, everything in New York costs 3 times as much. And InvestFest is 25,000 people. 20,000 of them live in Atlanta or Metro Atlanta, so they don't use a hotel room, they don't rent a car and all that kind of stuff. So you want to think that your target audience, which is black folks of success and of note, it's Atlanta. So let's lock in on what a future looks like. Let's come up with a community benefits package, because I ain't just you charge a lot for people to go to InvestFest. So if you want to get city support, then let's talk about what actually supports the city. And I have great conversations with everybody.
I was thinking about InvestFest the other day, and I was thinking, do you just keep it in Atlanta?
Hey, can I say one more thing? I don't know if y'all are ready for this conversation. At what point in time are people going to hold the Breakfast Club and platforms like Earn Your Leisure accountable for as many scammers that have gone through their platforms? There's been a lot of scammers who went through the Earn Your Leisure pipeline and the Breakfast Club. Let's not forget this bozo here was the one who introduced a lot of people to Caesar Pina. And a lot of people lost their money investing into homes and apartment buildings that were not there. So at what point in time are people going to start holding places like the Breakfast Club and Earn Your Leisure accountable for them not doing their due diligence, for them not checking out a lot of these people who end up being scammers? So, again, like the mayor said, they charge a lot of money. Like, this is not a free event. This is not a nonprofit event. Those tickets are upwards of several $1,000s. So for them to act like they should be getting all these freebies from Atlanta, and like you said, this is not going back into Atlanta's pocket. Now, if you want to talk some real business, you have my number. So I just, the
bands check my pockets out. Bands.
So people started talking about it. So here's one young lady giving her experience. A lot of people are saying that it wasn't worth it. They didn't really learn too much. So we'll watch some of the reactions.
You're delusional as hell. Why on earth would the city of Atlanta put up billboards for a business conference? And y'all are not locals. And y'all are charging for the tickets. It's not a nonprofit. It's not community service. And then y'all was literally pedestalizing scammers and people who present day business is failing. Me and my man went in I think it was 2022 or 2023, one of those years. And literally one of the people that was on the panel was Pinky Cole, who we all know her business is failing. She supposedly don't pay her employees. And then there was another guy, I can't remember his name. Was it?
Hi, Jill.
Was one of them investing guys who was giving a financial advisor. And I think he got arrested for fraud. Like, what in the hell? And I think it also goes to show this delusional mentality a lot of transplants have when it comes to Atlanta, is that they think that Atlanta's supposed to change. Honestly, I feel like Atlanta is the way people treat LA, like they think they're going to move to LA and their life is going to change just because they're in LA. That's how people treat Atlanta. They think that because they come here and there's a lot of success here, there's a lot of black success, that the city is supposed to just do shit for it. Like, that's so delusional. Like, in what world would the city of Atlanta, first of all, if we need these potholes fixed, fuck an InvestFest. Okay, and if they were going to give some money to a business, don't you think it would be a local business that's actually doing something to give back to the community? Ooh, it was sunny all morning. Why I want to rain right when I'm finna leave to go to work? That's actually crazy.
Another thing that kind of tripped me out is they had Big Beach there at InvestFest. And I'm just like, why speak at InvestFest? That makes absolutely no sense. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, there it is. Big Meech, he made a surprise appearance at InvestFest. Pull up this clip instead here. Right there. Big Meech. What does he have to talk about investments when he took more from Atlanta, he sold drugs? So to me, it just seems like it's just more of a kick it fest than anything else. It doesn't come off like a real festival. It just doesn't. It comes off like a place for celebrities and washed up gangsters to get up on the platform and talk about what they've been through in life. I don't know. I just don't know how much investment and money talk is really going on. Like, of all people, Big Meech. Okay, girl. So after a lot of the criticism that they got,
Thank you, Jeff. What you eat today?
they went off. They said that basically InvestFest is no longer a black it's no longer a black event. They're catering to other races. It was never really a black event. So they just start going off because they got a lot of criticism from people who felt like it was more of a kick it, like a social gathering, than it was anything about investment and finances. And the way the economy is looking, people are really looking for real financial advice. So let's watch this clip here. Okay, so this is where he says basically, InvestFest is no longer a black event.
Some of the dumbest things I've seen online even before the event, somebody was like, we have events like this every single week in Atlanta. You're an idiot for saying that. You never did it. But I'm not even on the black thing no more. I never was
strips,
on the
mac and cheese, mashed
not a black
potatoes.
event.
That
Because I
sounds
seen
good.
somebody else
Did you have
that
some
said that,
condiments,
it
some
was
honey
white
mustard,
people.
some barbecue sauce?
They qualified to be there. Like, what do you mean? You think I'm gonna cater just to black people just to get torn down by black people? You out of your fucking mind. There's gonna be even more white people next year, and Spanish and the Filipinos, of course. Like, I'm done. It's been real. Y'all, for what? The only thing you're gonna do is criticize it and tear it down, and not pay and want to get it for free anyway.
No shot. If black people go this weekend's not a black.
Well, I'm confused as to who got in for free outside of your celebrity friends. The average man and woman who went to InvestFest, they paid several $100s to get in. Because I think the minimum ticket for one day was $300. So who are all these people who are trying to come in for free? I can assure you not one celebrity paid to get in. But yet it's easier to punch down on the regular man and woman who bought a ticket and who actually supported. And they said it was about 30,000 people who showed up throughout the weekend. So that's a good amount of people who came out to support. So for him to be talking like this, just because he doesn't like the feedback is insane.
All inclusive. You want to put labels on you that you yourself didn't put on yourself. You never called it the Black Investment Conference.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. It's not a black financial literacy conference. It's a business conference. One of the biggest business conferences. Because that's how they minimize you also. Oh, this is one of the big. This is one of the biggest black finance. No, what are you talking?
Flat tire, get up to $5,000 fast.
You see me start.
What can you do with Cricket?
No need to brush the comb. I keep it clean.
It's not. This shit's not funny when you still living in your mom's house at 35 years old. Joke's on you. Some of the dumbest things I've seen.
Again, punching down at the same audience that's supporting him. You don't know why somebody's living with at their mom's house at 32 years old. Times are hard. It's hard for people to get mortgages. The interest rate is super high. So for somebody who's supposedly in finance, you would know that. That wouldn't be a dig that you would take at somebody. A lot of people are having to move in with other people, having to get roommates at grown ages because, if you look around outside, food prices, gas, everything is going up. So why make fun of somebody because they have to live with a parent or that they have to get a roommate? Find some more clips here. So after all that nonsense, he wanted to come back and Isaac Hayes called him out, and then he eventually apologizes. So we're gonna watch this video here.
Not a black event. It's not a black financial literacy conference. No disrespect. It's not the NAACP Community Give Back charity no, it's not.
I know building something in public
with criticism is very, very hard. But the one thing that you can't ever do is fold on your people. Trust me, I've got
I'm
it
good. How you doing?
from every which way. But I'm never gonna not be on the black thing. White people don't need your help. And this is typically where shit goes left. Your biggest person at InvestFest that you have is Miss Business, and she's black. That's the black thing. All the guests that you primarily brought to all the InvestFests,
We're black.
Steve Harvey, Robert F. Smith, Serena Williams, 50 Cent, that is the black thing. It's disappointing because this was the most successful InvestFest that you guys have had in a black city with black culture. You used black music to promote it. You went on black radio stations to promote it. And then now all of a sudden it's not a black thing. This reeks of white validation. This reeks of your goal and your intention is to eclipse black culture and black success.
I'm good. How are you?
To stand amongst white people and around white folks. And if that's what it is, you're no different than them because you built it off the back of black people. And that's just not, that ain't cool. So have a vacation, take a little time, come back, be like, I was tripping.
So, like I said, they got a lot of heat for saying what they said because they definitely used a black city to come up and black people. So now, let me see, I'm trying to find his apology. Okay, so here goes his apology. Pull it up on this other screen. Alright, so this is him apologizing after backlash from everywhere.
I really do want to say that if I hurt you in that commentary, I truly am sorry. Because that wasn't.
Oh, sons of snitches.
Don't you love when someone gives you an apology and they're like, well, if I hurt you,
If I offended you,
if I did something wrong,
not that I did something
yeah,
wrong.
but if I did, then all right, I'm sorry.
And I really do want to say that if I hurt you in that commentary, I truly am sorry. Because that wasn't.
Oh, sons of snitches.
Okay, here goes somebody else responding to their apology as well.
Reflection and real humility. This apology reeks of forced damage control. It does not even smell like real reflection and real humility. Because even in the apology, he still sounds angry and self-righteous in the apology. If you really don't feel like you're sorry about what you said, then it's better that you just not apologize, bro. Like, just own that shit. Stand on it and stand in it. Like, if it ain't a black conference, it ain't a black conference. And all that comes with that. But also, there were certain things he said that were in the apology that were also very arrogant. What? You gave 19 Keys a platform? You gave Queen Afua a platform? What? Queen Afua been famous before he was even born. Like, these people have had platforms way before you that are like way bigger than yours. Like, did nobody learn about these people from you? I don't know. It was the things he was saying was very much like, oh, you know, like wasn't nobody giving these people a platform? How about I apologize because what I said was ignorant and I was frustrated, and what I should have said was this: how I feel as a black business owner is X, Y, and Z, but it came out wrong. I apologize. And you know what? I could never turn my back on the community that y'all gave us a shot. Not the other way around. The black community gave y'all a shot. They trusted y'all with their hard-earned money. Okay? So I like that, owning that and going fully there with it would have been a much better apology, or a much more believable apology, because this just feels honestly like bullshit. And it seems like he don't get it. I don't know. What do y'all think?
So as you see, a lot of people were not feeling his apology and what he had to say. So I was hoping I had the full apology, but I don't know if they deleted it. It was kind of hard to find without people's commentary attached to it. So I think this is what's going on with Earn Your Leisure and other people on social media, especially the ones who came in with the finance grift, because that's what a lot of it is. They're not spilling any type of new information. A lot of this information you can find online. You know, like I said, you can get with a CPA, somebody who is a certified accountant, and learn a lot of this info. There's no such thing as quick money. And there's risks in any type of investment. And for years, we watched people come and sell folks a dream simply because they had a platform. We saw the Airbnb hustle. Now all the Airbnbs are crashing, okay? We saw the whole flipping houses and making money. And now people are starting to come out and admit that, you know, buying a bunch of apartments and homes and stuff like that may have not been the best investment for them. Because it sounds good, you buy a $50,000, you know, rundown home, you know, you flip it, you make it look nice, you know, you put like $100,000 worth of work into it, then you put it on the market for $200,000, or you can rent it out, you know, you can have renters in there, and people never talk about the downside. You know, the renters who refuse to pay and who mess up the house, and how you have to, you know, renovate every few years, or, you know, people who just tear stuff up. And so they make it seem like this is just quick, easy money. It doesn't come that way. And this is why now you have a lot of people putting up homes for sale, getting rid of their renters. You have a lot of these corporations like BlackRock coming in and buying everything. There's more corporate landlords because a lot of regular landlords, they can't handle it anymore. So there's never a risk without an investment. But I think part of the issue that's going on with a lot of these channels who were like really popping in 2020 and 2022 is that the money's not moneying, meaning the views are not viewing. They're not getting the same amount of views that they used to get. And one thing, they're not getting the same amount of views. Let me play this guy's clip, because he did this video about a year ago when they were crashing out, when people were saying, yeah, y'all are not getting the same amount of views, what's going on with y'all's channel, and they were kind of upset. So I'm going to play you a few clips from this YouTuber, and then I want to speak more on that. Okay. And this is from The Stop. It's his channel. So we're just going to watch a clip.
Leisure's channel, they have 1.5 million subscribers. Their channel is dead.
What everybody taking the beef in until you get slapped like a.
I see you, I'm gonna say something.
Love the losers.
Rashad from EYL threatens to slap his enemies. That's right, y'all. On a recent episode of Earn Your Leisure's Blackout, Rashad started to set aim at the people who's been dissing his channel, and he came off a bit unhinged as he was talking about, you know, slapping people and, you know, doing all of this crazy fab stuff that I talked about in my last video. For those of you that don't know, Earn Your Leisure's YouTube views are down in the tank after a series of missteps and making too much content that no one cared about. The views have plummeted. But what is interesting is the response from Rashad. Kind of looks like the leader of Earn Your Leisure, more so than Troy. He's not as vocal. He's a little bit more measured in tone. Rashad jumps out the window, and jump out the window he did. Now, he's talking about smacking people and stuff like that. And I think the people he's talking about are two people in specific. I think he's talking about this channel called Echoes from Above. They've been making content about the fall of Earn Your Leisure. And then he also might be talking about JT the Pocket Watcher. JT the Pocket Watcher has been on Earn Your Leisure's head top and gets a lot of views that, and now he's even competitive to Earn Your Leisure. So I think he might be talking about them. They could also be talking about me. I recently did a video talking about why Earn Your Leisure's views are in the tank and how they could get better. But I don't think he's talking about me because I largely kept it respectful, and overall, I feel like my measured tone was a bit more easier to.
So you get what he's saying. I want to skip to this part here to understand. This is him in the car crashing out again.
Sick to their stomach. They're gonna have to have Pepto-Bismol. That's why they said, like, yo, you're going too far. I said, I'm not going far enough.
That NBA lifestyle he probably thought was coming. And now what you're seeing is the ill effects of that. But nonetheless, once again, this was on Blackout, Earn Your Leisure's Blackout, which is, to me, an attempt to see if they could establish non-financial content in the light of financial content plummeting. Because they're not the only guys this is happening to. You look at Stock Mo's channel, there's a white YouTuber. His stuff is in the dirt. His stuff ain't hitting. I remember Stock Mo. I used to watch this guy.
Okay, so y'all get the point. Y'all get what he's trying to say. Is that a lot of the finance channels are not hitting like they were. A lot of people were really into that, especially during 2020, the COVID lockdown. People had all this extra, PPP money. They were trying to find ways to invest. I remember Earn Your Leisure was out here. Who was the other guy? Jay Morrison and the Tulsa, Oklahoma Fund. He was another scam artist. And they platformed him as well, did many interviews with him. He was also on The Breakfast Club. Cesar Pena. You just had all of these people who were out and about. And so I think part of the reason why they're crashing out is because the views are not viewing. And if you understand YouTube, you get money based on views. And when you're not getting the views that you were once getting, you're not getting the money that you were once getting. So probably at some point in time when they were really popping, they may have been making anywhere from, $20 to $30, $50, $60,000 a month. So to go from that, and then you're split in two ways, to barely getting any views, to go from, let's just say, rough estimate, $20,000 a month to the views they get now, it's probably maybe down to $3,000, $4,000 a month. And I feel like that's why a lot of these folks end up crashing out and going off and blaming the audience. But my thing is this, right? If you're very financially savvy and you have all this money, because that's what all these finance guys talk about. Oh, I have, Rolexes and houses and cars and this and that. Then you'd be straight even if your views did tank. Because remember, you guys are supposed to be educating the people on how to make money and how to, get rich and all this other stuff. But the truth of the matter that people don't want to admit, which I don't understand why, is that most of these people are making money off of YouTube. The money that they're getting, the way they're able to support themselves is off of a YouTube check. Why is that so hard? And I noticed that it's very hard for the men to admit that. They act like they're getting all this money from outside sources, investments, and, pimping out pictures on OnlyFans. No, you're getting a YouTube check, like everybody else. You work for Google just like me and everybody else. But it's like for some of these guys, it's so hard to admit that that's where their main bulk of their money's coming from. YouTube checks and selling courses. Remember the Dusty podcast, the two guys, Myron and the other one, Fresh and Fit. Remember, they were acting like, I work for the FBI and I have all this money and I'm in Miami, da-da-da. And then what happened when YouTube demonetized their channel? Look how sick they were. They were crying. And I'm like, well, if y'all were rich and y'all had money before YouTube, why do you care if your channel's demonetized? Oh, because you really didn't have it like that. YouTube was sustaining your lifestyle. And now that you've been demonetized, you're crashing out. So I think that's what people need to understand is that a lot of these folks who come on here with all this, financial know-how and, ways to hustle and get rich quick, they're only doing that because it's something for them to do. It's views for them to get. It's content for them to make. And I'm not saying that you can't make money off of, you know, well, back then, the Airbnb market, when it was good, there were definitely ways to have side hustles and make money. But once things get oversaturated, it's hard to. If you didn't jump on it when it first started, it's hard to come at the tail end. And another thing that people need to also understand is, if I'm rich and I got a hustle that's really working for me, why would I share that with the rest of the world? Does that make sense? I'm only sharing it because it's content and I'm getting paid off of the content. People who are really millionaires, who really make real money moves, you wouldn't even know it. They're not showboaty. They're not running around here, you know, looking like a Louis Vuitton luggage case. They blend in. They don't want you even knowing that they got money like that. They move in silence. So a lot of this stuff is just a hustle. Just like I was watching bits and pieces of Portia Williams, her speech or whatever she was doing, her segment at Earn Your Leisure, at InvestFest. And she's literally up there talking about how, you know, because she went through a divorce and she went through all this and that, and that's what sparked her to start her hair company. And now she's making...
Open a Chime checking account in 2 minutes and get paid earlier to enjoy a festive spring. Apply now.
As she goes. What are you talking about? You've been wearing weave before you ever got married to any of these bozos. And you're not telling people how to get the bag. You're just literally telling your story. And I bet you any money, all she's doing is getting the hair from like Alibaba and then putting her logo and everything. She, you know what I'm saying? She's doing, what is that called? When you put your logo on something like on makeup, I can't think of the name. Y'all can write it in the chat. She's just putting her brand on it. She's not going to China and sourcing this hair. She's not going to the Indian temples and going through, you know, cutting off virgin Indian hair and, you know, making sure it's... She's not doing any of that. She has a brand, and she's able to profit off of that brand. And there's nothing wrong with that, but stop trying to act... Thank you, private label. I appreciate y'all. Private label. That's what most of these people are doing. They're just private labeling stuff. And, you know, not to knock Portia, Kylie Jenner. All the clothing that she supposedly made. She doesn't sew.
I was sick and ugly. Did you know I was sick? I was sick for like 9 days.
In the label
it's my second day better.
From Alibaba and things like that. They're just private labeling
I thought
stuff.
I was going.
A lot of the makeup and things like that. They're not out there really messing with chemists and seeing the formulations. It's pretty much, oh, you're
I thought I was going to the upper room.
Millions of followers. Let's start a lipstick line for you. Let's start an eyeshadow palette for you.
It's my heart.
But yet they'll get up here and act like what they're doing, like they're, you know, they're the first to ever make a lip gloss, or they're the first to sell hair weave. YouTubers been selling hair weave for years on YouTube.
Thank you.
And promoting weave. But all of a sudden hers is different because her brand is attached to it. So I think that's where people just need to use like a lot of common sense and understand that a lot of the people they place in front of you are just regular people. The only difference is they have a brand and they have a following. So they can capitalize on that. And if you don't have some type of following, it's a lot harder to break through. So a lot of this stuff is a hustle for them. When you're paying for their classes to hear how to start your own hair company, you're not going to get that. It's just going to be a bunch of mushmouth talk about themselves. That's why I stopped going to any empowerment brunches. Remember the empowerment brunches of Atlanta? Every Sunday there'd be an empowerment brunch, and
I spent so much money on being sick, so much medicine.
And this and that. And you would go to these empowerment brunches. I never paid to get in because I'd be with my friend.
Ooh,
but we'd go.
Look at my lives.
Spend, upwards
I
of
was
$300-$400
sick. I
for
was
these
eating
brunches.
2 packs of noodles a day, putting hella red pepper in it, putting hot sauce in it,
women up there just bragging
eating ginger, putting ginger in my nose, scrubbing
I
lemons in my water. I had this filled with
how
lemon.
did you get the funding for said business? What loans did you take out? What bank did you go through? oh, well, my man is rich, he's in the NFL. Well, okay, well, we're not the same. You know, but they're never giving out really useful information. So just say that your man invested into your dreams and we didn't need to pay $400 for this. Just say you got a rich boyfriend and he decided to start you a boutique. But you got regular women who are coming in there who are like, dang, I want to start my own business. How do I go about getting a business?
Yep.
None of that information is talked
That's
about.
why I got my hair done.
So I think
So I
that's
can feel
where
better, look
a lot
better.
of their anger is coming from.
My job been canceling me so many days. I ain't been able to make no money. And by me being sick,
And right
I
now
ain't
they
been able to
have
make no
to
money.
basically depend on that
So I
money
gotta go. I
from
gotta get better.
investors.
So I'm trying to stay in the
And
house
it's
as
not
long as
easy
I
to put
can.
together a conference like that. It's a
So
lot
I
of
can
money
get
that you
better.
have to put up front. That's why they were upset and they feel like, Atlanta needs
I'm
to
back
help
on
more
my
because they're the ones
CJ.
fronting a lot of that upfront capital. As they should, it's their event.
Who is
But if they're not making that money back in some way, shape, or form through YouTube, through other social media platforms, then it ends up leaving them more and more in the hole. And I think that's why they're lashing out. That's why they're going off. That's why they're blaming the black community. That's why they're looking to expand outside of the black community. That's why they don't want to be labeled a black event, because they feel like if they're labeled a black event, it then puts them in a box where white people won't feel as comfortable coming or investing or wanting to learn. But the thing is, you came up using black folks. You came up using the Breakfast Club, which is a black platform. You're using black influencers, black celebrities. So then you can't then turn around and say that you're not a black event or that you don't want to have nothing to do with black folks because a few YouTubers made videos calling y'all out. So the whole situation is a mess, but that's just my opinion on it. I just think, and it's for a lot of YouTubers. Hell, I mean, I can be honest, my views are not what they used to be. YouTube was cleaning up house. Hell, I went, almost 3 months without making any videos, so I'm having to play catch up. And that's okay, but I'm not going to come out here and go off on my audience and, y'all need to do this and y'all not doing that, and damn it, we're the super jets. You don't do that. Especially in these, in this time and age, with everything going on with the economy. Everybody can't afford to fly out and go to Invest Fest. Everybody can't afford to, just drop $300-400 on tickets. If they can, be grateful and be happy. But that might not be everybody's situation. So don't knock folks. And the thing is, like I said, this is one of their best turnouts from what they said. 30,000 people is nothing to sneeze at. But obviously, to me, if I look at it from a financial point of view, it seems to me that they spent way more money than they got in return. And that's why they're feeling away. But that's just what it is. Anytime you take a chance on putting together an event, you'll be lucky if you break even. You might make a few $1,000s, but a lot of times you usually, if you're putting together a good event and you're just doing it, just for the love of it, a lot of times you end up in the hole. And if you can afford it, you eat it. A lot of times when I do my events, I don't make money off the events. I think only one time we hit close, where we hit right at budget, but a lot of times I lose a few $1,000s. But it's okay, as long as y'all get the oxtail lasagna and y'all like it, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pay the little, $900 a pan. It is what it is. I go hard for the people who go hard for me. So sometimes you just gotta take that loss. If you're really in it for the people and you really want them to learn, and you lost, several $1,000s on it, then so be it. Then you restructure next year. Maybe you go to a smaller venue. Maybe invite less people. You know what I'm saying? Less celebrities. So, I think that's what it is. Oh, y'all talking about Scammy Daniels, Stormy? She's another one with her MLM. All that fast talking, get rich quick. Remember, everybody was selling them that Nutraverse tea and all that other stuff. It was just a way for her to get money. That's all that was. So, it's a mess. Not Letitia Pearson's, from the Bell Collective. She stays having an empowerment brunch. What are you empowering? You and Glenn's relationship is a mess. I don't know what Letitia does for a living outside of Bell Collective. At least with Latrice, her and her man actually got coins. They actually have businesses that we can see on the show. But I don't see the same for Letitia. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats. Let's see here. Equela Brada said $9.99. Says, thank you for all you do, Auntie. Giving you your flowers. Thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you for the love and support, sis. Let's see here. Mandarin sent a $5 super sticker. Thank you so much, Mandarins. Don Today Light Madness sent $4.99. Says, did you hear about the Texas Roadhouse? A group was exposed for. Yeah, I heard about it. Ugh, disgusting. I heard about it. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. This is why I don't even go out to eat as much anymore. Hell, it's hard to even figure out what's safe to eat. If they're not recalling something, now you got a bunch of folks talking about they're speeding in people's food, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting. I did hear about that, though. I could have threw up. I just don't understand how people play with people's food like that. It's scary. Let's see here. Rondar said he should have just did a food truck. Yeah, that might have been easier too. Just have a food truck and travel to different cities and stuff like that. But even with a food truck, it's still a lot of work though. He's an older gentleman, so it still would be a lot of work. He'd have to have a good staff, and food prices are a lot higher now. I don't know if he wants to take on that headache, especially with the internet blasting him and going in on him. Shout out to all the new members. Thank you guys for joining the membership. Let's see here. Candy Ling. She sent $4.99. She says, hey, T, are you going to talk about the girl Angel who faked being a PA student at Duke? I heard a little bit about that. She's a bozo. Another stupid idiot trying to go viral, trying to be an influencer. It's just sad. The things that people do to build a brand. It's no different than a lot of these fake white girl influencers who sit around and act like they're rich. And, they're starting to clock that girl, Becca Bloom, the Asian lady. They're saying she's not really rich, that she's filming out her content in the clubhouse of her apartment building. So a lot of these people do these fake it till you make it. I don't understand the point of that. It's weird, especially being that it's easy for people to just investigate. Just like with Cheyenne Bryant, but unfortunately, that's the mentality. People feel like if they can, fake it till they make it, gather a bunch of influencers, hawk a bunch of stuff to them, then the ends justify the means. So, let's see here. New Moon Libra sent $5. Says, I used to buy financial courses from successful women, but quickly realized many are selling courses, talking around the bag instead of getting to it. Exactly. A lot of times, people who sell courses, it's nothing but a hustle, and a lot of them steal courses from other people. Then they'll just rewrite it and use it with their brand on front. So, yeah. A lot of stuff you can find online by just searching, taking time to research, and things like that. Everything I had to learn when it came to building homes, selling them, building custom homes. I had a few bumps in the road, what I'm saying? But I sat online and I just researched and took notes and studied, what I'm saying? And found the best way to build a custom home, what I'm saying? The best way to buy a home, sell it, get money off of it, things like that. You don't really need a course for that. You just have to know how to look up the information. And then, like I said, if it's too good to be true, a lot of times it's BS. Just like when Ty Lopez would sell all those courses, how to become a millionaire really quick. Because, after a while, I'm like, am I doing something wrong? Why is anybody on YouTube driving a Ferrari? What am I doing wrong? And, my CPA would be like, you're not doing anything wrong. You're not a scammer. You're letting your money grow, through investments and, IRAs and things like that, through trust and things that make sense. What they're doing is just fast money. And I remember she was telling me this all through COVID. They're all eventually going to get caught. They're all scammy. That's not how money works. Money grows slow. It's nothing that happens overnight when it comes to investing anyways. So you got to remember that. Miss Twilight sent $5, says T, you look gorgeous, hun. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, sis. Let's see here. Anna sent a $5 sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And let's see here. Zanea sent 5, says, hey T, I've always wanted to tell you this, that you look like Dolly Parton, especially with the smile. Glad you're doing fine. Peace and love. Okay, girl. Now, I'm a fan of Dolly Parton, but I don't think I mean, maybe got big boobs. I don't think I look like Dolly Parton, but Dolly Parton is a beautiful woman, though. She is, and rest in peace to her. I just found out earlier that she passed away, so definitely rest in peace to her. So now I want to get on the Master P. We got to talk about Master P, child. He's back, y'all. And y'all know I did a 2-part series. I did a 2-part deep dive on Master P and all his bullshit, his scamming ways, just the game that he's ran on the community. So I'm not shocked at all that he's back trending. So what happened with Master P is this. I'm going to play the video in just a second. Let me share my screen here. Okay. So legendary rapper Master P says, our culture needs to stop harping on slavery. Let's get the negative mindset out of our culture. I can't change the past, but I can change the future. Okay? So a lot of people are not feeling this at all. We're going to go ahead and listen to what Master P has to say.
Throw that out of their garage. Like, feel nice, throw that out of his... It's not about a color. Like, think about it. Even though when I help black-owned business, I'm doing that because we at the bottom of the totem pole. But we want to create product for everybody. This product is for everybody. Blacks, white, Asian, Latino. But you don't have too many black-owned companies. Like, show me how many black-owned tennis shoe companies out there that's making functional shoes that actually own it. It's not that many. It's a problem. Yeah. So when I find a problem, you know, my passion get like, I need to do this. I got to show the world. In the food industry, I realized that we didn't have enough healthy alternative foods for us.
Not tonight.
So I found a problem.
They on my vlog. Go on my page.
Food. I said, well, you know, I got to make healthy alternative food, snacks, everything.
Is that based out of New Orleans?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so I was inspired by going to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And you know, in Black Wall Street, 1920, what happened to our people, and it's like you had so many successful, rich black people, and it was burned down. But I met this guy that owned a grocery store called Oasis.
A.J. Johnson.
Yes. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put my food in your grocery store, and I'm gonna support you. We support all these other companies, but why not support Oasis and AJ?
He's doing good stuff in the community, and what you know about that store, as I've been down there, is that the predominantly of that area that's white is poor individuals.
Yes.
You know, and so I love the work that he's doing. But when you think about, again, being yourself, what's been the biggest surprise of the start? You've been in this game for a very, very long time. It's been the biggest surprise about it all.
Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. I'm dropping my podcast soon. I was a little sick.
They just don't get it. They're like, how you could do this? I mean, like, if I could do it, anybody could do it. You don't have to be the smartest person in the world. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You just gotta have integrity and do good business. And these doors will open up for you. Building great relationships. And I think that's the biggest thing for me, trying to get that negative mindset out of our culture, because they still going back to, oh man, slavery, they did us this, and I'm like, you still hoping on that, man. I never hoped on that, because I can't. And a color. So, I mean, Muhammad Ali was a guy that, and I love, like, his story, because he didn't care about that. He just wanted to be around good people, but he did represent for the culture. And I want more African American owned tennis shoe companies. I don't want this just to be me. I want so many different product brands owned by us, but making it for everybody. Think about it. When other cultures make products, they don't make it for them, they make it for everybody. And so I want that mindset of our people. If I could change that, that's the way we're going to bridge the wealth gap.
What's been the biggest negative surprise of it? The biggest negative surprise at the start?
Our people can't work together. Think about when I go down Rodale Drive and see all these stores. They're owned by all the same kind of looking people. None of them fighting. None of them caring about what each other have or got. And I love that. I want to see that for our culture and our people. That's why I fight to educate our culture and our people. Because we got to get on that page. Like, we get on that page, we're going to be dangerous because we spend $1 trillion a year.
2.1 trillion.
2.1 trillion, think about it. And we don't own nothing. And we make 1/10 of black CEOs in Fortune 500 companies, but we spending all the money. Somebody look like us.
If you've been on this channel for any length of time, y'all know how I feel about Master P. You know, I'm a fan of his music. You know, I'm a child of the 90s. You know, I'm a No Limit soldier. But when it comes to his business, he's such a fucking hypocrite. And what I've noticed with Master P, like I said, I did an 8-hour deep dive on him. That's how much I broke Master P down succinctly. Okay, if you have not watched my deep dive on Master P, go watch it. But what I've noticed about Master P that irks me is that every time he's ready to hawk some new shit, he always has to throw daggers and digs at the black community. Just say you're trying to sell your new aqua blue, your Air Force 100s, okay? You didn't have to bring up slavery and saying that black folks don't support each other. You just want black folks to buy your shit. That's really what it boils down to, okay? My issue is, let's not forget, it wasn't too long ago, hold on, that Master P was on the Breakfast Club. This was back in 2020, before him and Romeo fell out and had that huge beef. So let's go back to 2020, because we keep receipts. Do you see how sloppy this looks? And I'm not even gonna play the clip yet, but I want y'all to just look at the display. You got two pair, and I don't care if the shoes are brand new. You have shoes on the table,
food,
ramen noodles, and then an open bag of chips. And then they were also hawking the t-shirts and a Balenciaga hat. And he came in 2020, and you know, he had a lot to say about the community not supporting him, not supporting the chips. And then we find out later on, after him and Romeo fell out and they got into it, Romeo stated that Master P that he doesn't even own Rap Snacks. We're thinking Romeo's rich, this is generational wealth. I went down the rabbit hole. He doesn't even own any of this stuff. He's basically the brand ambassador. But he wants black people to think that he's the one in the factory, you know, mixing and concocting the flavors and this and that and this. No, he's just the face of the brand. He doesn't even own Rap Snacks. Okay? So I'm going to play this clip for y'all. I got to move it though, because you know, Breakfast Club, you can't use their videos, so give me just a second here. Like I said, I followed him for years. And I just would clock like, this man is not a multi-millionaire. A lot of people have a name, they have a reputation, they're rappers and entertainers, so we automatically equate that with wealth. But people who are really wealthy, they're not hawking random tennis shoes. They're not doing interviews with tennis shoes in the frame. They're not doing interviews with open bags of Rap Snacks. That's not how people who have money move. And so this is just some of the stuff. I'm going to show y'all a piece of my deep dive. Usually I don't show any, but I'm gonna show y'all a piece of my deep dive where I kind of broke down all of the stuff that Master P be hawking. $1996 of neglecting to report its first year's earnings to the IRS. Miller is also the founder of the hip-hop label No Limit Records, and the alleged tax crime, he could have served a maximum of 5 years. So that was in 2004. And then he ended up filing bankruptcy. And then in 2018, he was accused of refusing to pay another tax settlement. They were saying at that time that he owed $1.5 million in tax debt to the IRS. And so they wrote this: according to the documents obtained by the Blast, Master P owes taxes from 2004 for over $1 million, in 2005 for over $305, and in 2008 for $4,447.50. A grand total of unpaid taxes come to $1.5 million. The IRS said that if Master P didn't cough up the money soon, they will begin the process of seizing his assets and properties to collect the debt. The lien remained active and has yet to be released by the IRS. In 2004, the rapper had a cameo in Scary Movie 3 and released his 11th studio album, Good Side, Bad Side, after filing for bankruptcy in 2003. So it's very apparent that Master P has had several tax and IRS issues, so WAC 100 wasn't lying about that. But I got to thinking about what he was saying, that if he was really rich, why is he selling noodles? Why is he selling all this stuff? And like I said, I'm following Master P. Like, he's one of the few celebrities I actually do follow. I follow him and a few of his kids. And the more I thought about all the stuff that I've watched Master P hawk on my timeline over the years, and it doesn't add up. If you're wealthy and you're creating generational wealth, why do you have to hawk so many different items? At what point in time are you going to focus on one or two things and perfect that and get that done and over with? But it seems like all he's done is just every other month, it's a new product, it's a new this, it's a new that. And like I said, I've watched this on my IG page for over, close to 4 years. So I'm going to show you guys a short montage of just all the things I've seen on my timeline over the years of stuff that Master P has been trying to sell. And it just does not make any sense. On top of that, in 2020, he would always post all these new things that he was involved in. At one point in 2020, he was... I'm going to fast forward.
Me and Mercy came up with Massive Thing Life a year ago to help support any city youth.
Selling dish soap.
What's going to be different?
And what's really different about us is everything's answered.
Y'all not read receipts. This part of him hawking, I think this part by itself was like a 30-minute montage of things that this man has hawked on my timeline over the years. Let's see, what else?
The secret sauce. That's my grandpa's sauce. That's the Big Papa sauce.
Tell me about this secret sauce, because this is really what makes it, right?
Yeah, this is what makes everything.
Good.
So barbecue sauce, fried
the
fish.
only in the world that you can get that is Big Papa. The deep fried.
What about you?
And everything is cooked, seasoned well. You see how...
Oh, let me see if I can find another thing. This man was always hawking stuff.
Man, whatever you heard me, go to the store and get this. I ain't got to look for
rice.
I ain't got to look over my shoulders. I got that real, you heard me. Say hello to my little friends. I got packs of rice. Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna give y'all. Y'all want to watch the rest? Go watch the deep dive. So my point is, and then remember,
I want everybody to buy me a massage for my birthday.
The little blind boy couldn't see, and they had this little blind boy eating the Snoop Dogg because he made cereal with Snoop Dogg. So they want the little blind boy to test the cereal out. It was just a mess. So my point is, this man has been hawking stuff.
Yeah, I would get by her dad all day, so I'm gonna take a nap.
Okay, so it's not just shoes; it's rice, pancake mix, hamburgers, cleaning detergent, Lysol wipes with Master P. So I just find it funny that every few years he comes out. He's mad at black folks. He wants black folks to do a lot more to support him. And I just didn't like the fact that him as a black American man would basically minimize slavery and say that, you know, that was in the past. He needs to move forward. You know, we need to move forward and things like that. And my thing is, you can't just say that folks need to move forward and get over slavery, and then not talk about the racial wealth gap. You know what I'm saying? That didn't stop when slavery ended. A lot of things were put in place to keep a lot of black folks at the bottom. And so I think the way he was saying it on that platform was just like an oversimplification, and it was annoying. You know, he's chalking up people struggling and not, you know, being able to hustle and do what they got to do simply because they're stuck with an old slave mentality. And so to me, it came up like that whole pull yourself up by the bootstraps rhetoric that you hear some white folks say, well, just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. I don't care who you are. Everybody needs help. Everybody needs mentorship, you know, somebody to help them out, encourage them, things like that. Nobody gets anything done by themselves.
This is what I mean.
And so I just didn't like how he said that. And even,
how do I be remembered?
You know, another thing, it's very easy, like I said earlier, to punch down and be mad at the consumers and be mad at black folks for not supporting your Air Force non-hunteds. You know what I'm saying? It's very easy to, like, point frustration towards the black community rather than the institutions and the policies that make it where black folks can't afford to buy your shoes right now. You know, and this whole, well, I made it so y'all can make it too. That's one thing that a lot of black celebrities and even influencers have had.
Can y'all book me a massage, please?
They're not honest. Whatever happened to just luck? Everybody cannot make it to a certain level, and that's okay. And I just don't like this whole, well, I'm here, I'm a millionaire, you can be one too. Sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's people that you know, sometimes it's the family that you're born into. But what a lot of people need to understand is that having money, being famous, and things like that, that is the exception to the rule. That's not the norm. Even for myself, what I do, you know, I've been blessed to have this platform. I worked hard over the past 10 years to build it up and be able to do commentary. But I would never get up here and be like, well, y'all should be doing more. You could be a YouTuber too, because if I did it, you can do it. For some of y'all, that is a possibility. But for some people, that's not an option. And we also have to understand that we're also the exception to the rule.
Oh, I'm so in pain.
And I think that's what a lot of celebrities, they don't want to own, including Jay-Z. You're the exception to the rule. Everybody can't be Jay-Z. Everybody can't be Beyonce. Everybody can't be Master P. You know how many people in the hood rapped and sold CDs out the trunk of their car, but for whatever reason, they didn't make it? Not that they weren't talented, it just wasn't in the cards for them. So I don't like that whole mentality of, well, I'm rich and, you know, I put myself up by the bootstraps, why can't y'all? If you're going to have this conversation, don't just leave it at slavery, brother. Talk about the black codes. Talk about Jim Crow. Talk about the discriminatory lending, the redlining, the housing segregation. If you guys follow my Instagram page, you guys remember a few weeks ago I talked about Rondo Days. That is the neighborhood I'm from in St. Paul, Minnesota. And in there, we do Rondo Day celebration to celebrate the old neighborhood. Back in like the 60s and 70s, it was a thriving black community. And that black community was destroyed when they built Highway 94 right through the community. And they redlined it. And they destroyed the black community. And what I found out, not only researching Rondo, is that this happened in a lot of communities. It happened in LA. It happened, you know, all through the country, where black communities were basically, you know, interrupted and displaced because of them building the highway systems. So this goes a lot deeper than slavery. A lot of stuff was done systematically to keep black people at the bottom of the totem pole. And that's what he was saying in that interview with the Breakfast Club. So if you understand that black people tend to be at the bottom of the totem pole, then why are you in the same breath being a hypocrite and saying that y'all need to get over slavery and change your mentality, and you too can be a millionaire? You too can help buy my products that I'm trying to sell.
My body been like this since a long time.
You know, you can't, back in 2020, talk about the structural barriers. Because remember, him and Snoop
My
Dogg,
body been fucked up for
who has
since
lived
like
literally 50
2001.
different lives, went on a hobo tour.
I was in a bad car accident
on
in
the Breakfast Club
2001.
and on any platform who would
And
have
I'd
them.
have been about 3
Remember,
more
they were
after
trying to
that.
sue Walmart. Oh, they're putting our cereals at the bottom. People talking about they can't find our masterpiece Snoop Dogg cereal in Walmart. This is racism. People have gone to Walmart and they're not seeing our cereals. Well, I live in Minnesota and I went to Walmart and their cereal was there. I'm not saying that it wasn't in other states, but Minnesota's a pretty white state. And I was able to find Master P and Snoop Dogg cereal. It's not there no more. But back then it was. But remember, they went and got a lawyer. They were trying to sue. So it's interesting that when he faces some type of, miscarriage of justice or racism,
It's for my
he
neck,
understands that.
my back,
And they can go on a
everything
whole
but my
tour and
pussy
call it
and my
out.
crack.
But when black people are saying,
It's
well,
where the
hey,
fuck I'ma put it.
it's not that I don't want to pull myself up out the
This ain't
boots.
just for your feet.
Doubted me
This
all the
wherever
way.
your pain
Told me
is.
I was all hype. They just mad that I'm him and they gotta deal with it. If you don't like it, you can
a school loan and get myself into debt, they'll
That's why
approve
this feels
that.
so good.
And we don't even want to get there and talk about how
I put a Q-tip in my ear and the little face report got stuck.
and all them came into the presidency, it was free to go to college. But once black folks got interested in furthering their education, all of a sudden college, we need fees. All of a sudden there was an entry barrier because they knew a lot of black families could not afford to send their kids to college back then. So there's always been a moving of the goalpost. And that's the part that kind of frustrates me when these conversations are had. Don't just chop it up to slavery and black folks not wanting to get over slavery. If you're going to talk about it all. Don't talk about it when it inconveniences you. Don't talk about it when you're facing racism, when you don't see your cereal on the shelf. But then when it comes to other black people, what they're going through, it's just kind of dismissed and y'all need to support me and buy my Uncle Ben's bootleg rice. Y'all need to support my shoes because it's a black-owned business.
This phase need to apply every 6 to 8 hours, no more than 3 times.
At the end of the day,
So I need to put this on 3 times a day.
I agree with financial literacy and, as long as it's legitimate and it's not, some schemy, scammy stuff.
Every 6 to 8 hours.
But ownership, is a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to own a home. But we also have to understand and give grace to those who don't have the credit, who don't have the funds, who are working 2 and 3 jobs, who wouldn't want to own
Buy
a
me
home,
some,
who
babe.
wouldn't want to have an
I ain't been able to go to work. I've been sick. I think I had the flu.
But we also
I feel like I had COVID. I feel like I was finna go to
especially in this day and age. So be grateful for the fact if you do own a home. Be grateful if you do have an asset and understand that you're the exception. You're not the rule. Be grateful if you do have a car.
I swear I didn't use probably like
that's not
5 to 6 rolls of tissue on my nose and just spitting up.
Depend on public transportation.
I gotta go buy some tissue tomorrow. We down like 2 rolls now.
The subways and things like that. Somebody said, preach, Reverend T. Okay. I will. I don't know. I just found
I can breathe now.
I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. So I just have to bring the receipts. Yes, Wendy, the money's not money, and that's why all these celebrities are crashing out. They look at y'all as, y'all are the ones who are supposed to dump money into their pockets. And when people are not buying their shoes, their makeup, their hairline, their products, whatever, private label item that they're deciding to sell,
Advil gel.
then it's the black community not supporting other
Shit, I need a pain pill. I'm trying to go to sleep.
As opposed to them being honest and saying, you know what?
We're
living in perilous times right now. Right now, the commander-in-chief just put an additional 50% tariff on Canada, and Canada said, we're doing the same thing back to America. We get our lumber, our cement, you know what I'm saying? Some of the most needed items from Canada, and guess what? We're also about to hit hurricane season. We're dealing with crazy weather.
I need to just get that, cut it in half, take some tonight, then take the other half tomorrow.
That Trump is playing.
Because if I take the whole one,
but they're not going to talk about that though. Right now, they're putting more sanctions on Iran and telling people, telling other countries, if you guys stand with Iran, then we're going to put sanctions on you all as well.
Yeah,
so they're creating a very toxic
I've been sick since like the
situation
17th, the
that's definitely, going
18th,
to
the
lead more
19th,
and
the
more
20th, the 21st,
into
22nd, 23rd,
Iran
24th.
possibly,
25th.
God forbid, attacking the U.S. because
I
of
was in
all
this
this stuff
motherfucker
that's
feeling
going on.
like, all by
The gas prices are outrageous. The
myself.
cost of food is outrageous.
Don't
People are
wanna
being laid
be
off. You had 2,500 people
all
walk into
by
Tyson Foods ready to
myself.
start their shift, and they were told
I
that
was in this
day
motherfucker shivering
it's
with
over.
the
The company shutting
shakes,
down. Here goes a month of
shivers.
severance. Leave.
I was sleeping on the floor, wrapped up in a cover,
So
like I was having
it's very easy
withdrawals.
for celebrities to be in their bubble and act like the world revolves around them, but I'm here to tell you it doesn't. Nobody gives a fuck about your neon blue shoes.
Shit, damn right, I'll be knocked the fuck out.
Not when gas is outrageous.
I hate having to deal with pain.
I have friends right
I'll
now
take
who
a
are in
pain
Memphis
pill.
who have no
If I'm in
lights.
pain, because look
Not
how
when you
stiff
have
I
black
am.
people in Gary, Indiana suffering. They're not worried about slavery in your shoes right now. They're just trying to make it day to day. So, those are my opinions. I'm Master P. Like I told you, I've been Clautisty. I did an 8-hour deep dive on him. He been scheming, scamming, and some more shit. And I still ain't forgot what he did to Minnehaha when he brought his boys here to Minnesota to interrupt the season because they wanted to hop on a hot team. They took 2 seats away from boys who had been at Minnehaha since junior high because they were Masterpiece kids. And guess what? As soon as Jalen Suggs and Chet Holmgren went into the NBA, Mercy and Hersey stayed 1 more year, and then they left Minnehaha. And now we fast forward, neither child are in the NBA.
My bad, y'all. I was
So he's always done little grimy shit. And I told y'all that 3 years ago.
I would, but I'm listening to something.
That whole
I had a
Minnehaha
problem with
jump
doing it.
was just a hustle to get their kids seen because Minnehaha was actually getting national attention. And they had
Have you
beat
subscribed to the
LeBron
channel,
James
friend?
and Bronny's team. I can't think of the school's name right now. And that's why he pulled him
I
from
hate
Cali,
being in pain
pulled both the
because
boys from Cali and
I've
brought
been
them
in
to
pain
Minnesota. And
since I
Minnehaha
failed
was
that day.
bogus as hell for even letting them walk on the team in the middle of the season. They wouldn't have did that for no regular kids. So I ain't forgot that shit. So Master P can kick rocks. His privilege has allowed him to do a lot of stuff, has allowed his kids to get away with a lot of stuff. So you don't get to sit here and be like black folks aren't supporting and they need to get over slavery. Because you use your privilege every chance you get. For y'all who are confused, I'm talking about basketball. Sorry. Just had to go on a basketball tangent real quick. Because I ain't forgot the shit they did to Minnehaha. Okay? But shout out to Jalen and Chet. They're doing their thing. All right, I got one more thing to talk about here, and then I'm going to go. Let me read these super chats here.
Fuck y'all. Y'all don't know how bad my shit hurt. Oh, me so honey. Me need a massage from an Asian man to walk on my back. I agree.
That's what's up. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat as well.
Why do you chop my back?
Rose Marin sent 199 says
In
Snoop
half.
Loops were
Oh,
a
that
game
sounds
changer.
fun.
Shut up. Not Snoop Loops. I never bought the cereal. I wasn't interested in eating anything.
I need to work on my posture. I need to
Snoop
have a
Loops.
bra.
I'm good. I don't eat cereal like that anyway.
I ain't have my bra on and
But
like.
I did find some, and it was like some generic multi-meal cereal. It's really the only cereal I've been able to really eat since I gotten out the hospital. And I really like it. It's called S'mores. It has a kangaroo on the pouch. I don't know. Somebody just told me to try it because I like s'mores. And it's good. So that's really been the only cereal that. And then they make me eat protein cereal. The protein cereal is hit and miss. But I like the s'mores cereal. Look, Wendy says, T, you been calling him out. I have. Because it's too much. It's too much complaint. He complains every 5 years, like clockwork, about the black community and how they're not supporting his, 5011 businesses. Sir, sit your ass down. Focus on one business and go from there. He had even at one point in time, I think in the deep dive, he was coming out with a car line, video game line. I mean, it was ridiculous, all the stuff this man is hot.
Yes, I'm
Just
Dog
that part of
Baby.
the deep dive was like a good
Dog
30
Baby
minutes.
for life.
So he can miss me. Let's see here. APS says, good morning from Thailand, T. You look good. Glad to see you're back and doing well. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Tim Puerto Rican, Sim 499 says, don't forget he was selling hand sanitizer during C19 and credit repair service. And credit repair services via credit. Shaking my head. Exactly. We're not going to talk about the other.
How was your day today,
Doc?
What you do? What you eat?
That man, he's always been hustling.
Always with that bitch again. Don't get fucked up.
So I just don't like the fact that, you know, now that the gravy train is running dry, he wants to come at the black community and say that, oh, they're stuck, you know, thinking about slavery and this, and that. Nah, folks are stuck thinking about how they're going to get these lights on. If they have enough food prepared in case, you know, the electricity goes out. Folks are trying to prep. They can't eat your shoes. Your shoes does not put gas in their gas tank. Folks are putting their priorities first. So, there you have it. SC 7499.
Okay, I gotta show you my hair.
Have you seen the controversy about Master P's daughter, the biracial one?
I probably gotta show you tomorrow.
She looks
this
totally
just stopped
different.
hurting.
I seen some of it. They said that she bleached her skin. She's super pale. You know, I don't know. She does look a lot lighter. I hope there's nothing else wrong with her because you never know what people are going through medically. So I don't really want to judge, but her skin does look really light.
Go
but then
fucking
let's
eat.
also not forget Asian culture worship is, you know, they worship white skin. And it looks like she's definitely around her mother's side of the family more than her father's side.
We got a baby to get up in a few hours.
So that might be why, if she is allegedly skin bleaching, because of, you know, her Asian heritage. So, but it's sad. She's a beautiful girl. So I just hope it was, you know, hopefully it was just like the lighting in the picture just made her look super light, but I don't know. But I did notice she's a lot lighter than she used to be.
Down with this numbing cream.
So let me see here. Okay, so this is the last story. We're going to talk about Keith Lee. So y'all know it's been a lot of drama going on in Gary, Indiana. People have been waiting for almost 2 weeks now for the power to come back. And people have just been going through it. You know, once your power is out for a few days,
I'm really sleepy, y'all.
You lose food, your food spoils. A lot of people were not prepared. A lot of people
guys, welcome to the channel. Make sure you like,
who did have generators, some were reporting that their generators were being stolen and things like that. That's why
but I'm gonna start getting some lymphatic drops because
I would recommend
my lymph nodes swollen.
Battery powered generators.
I feel a little swollen. I ain't been taking my turmeric.
In your garage. Those
I'm back taking my vitamins.
Safer. Who wants to pay thousands of dollars for a gas generator and you wake up and somebody stole it in the middle of the night? So
y'all heard about that stuff in Gary, Indiana?
So after
I'm gonna go.
A lot of influencers' videos went viral talking about Gary and, you know, the TikTok community, the online community coming together. Keith Lee stated that he wanted to go to Gary, Indiana to help out because he was getting ready to do some type of food tour.
This podcast.
So he was like, you know, if I can use my platform
everybody
to
like,
bring
comment, and
attention to
subscribe
Gary,
to the channel.
So he stated this
I love you all.
day that he was
I'm tired. I've been at the beauty shop. I went to the beauty shop at 10 a.m. I ain't leave till 7.
So let's start with Keith Lee's video.
I've been sitting in the chair all day. So I'm finna lay down, lay down, lay your head on my pillow. I'm finna lay it down. You a YouTuber? Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna come fuck with you. I'm doing good. How about yourself? What type of content do you have?
The official time is 11 o'clock. This is the address right here. We have supplies until they run out. We got a DJ coming for music. We got a bunch of food trucks. Shout out to every food truck that said they want to be down and participate and contribute. The buzz that I've heard from Gary, Indiana so far has been amazing. Again, if there's anything that we could possibly do, I'm going to do it. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. There is no community that look like myself that I will not play a part in, not being ignored. If I can do anything to make sure that we heard and we know, and we know, but everybody know that we a community and we gonna stay together, I'm gonna do that. God is amazing. God bless y'all. Have an amazing day. Y'all be safe. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 11 o'clock until 3. Depending on supplies, but until 3. God bless y'all.
All right, you're doing too much.
Okay. So y'all just heard what Keith Lee had to say. So he basically said that he was going to go to Gary, Indiana.
You got to come up at least 5 times before you start telling people to come subscribe to your channel. This is
and things like that.
a clique. We are a family here.
Can we hit the
Would
like
you like to be a
button,
part of the
y'all? Enjoy
family?
this stream.
Yes or no?
We have
If so,
thousands of
like,
viewers
comment,
in here. Please
subscribe,
hit the like button.
so you'll be notified when
So
I
what
go
ended up
live.
happening is it caused a bit of drama. There were people online that were coming in from Chicago. You had influencers coming down there, to be seen. This was supposed to help people in Gary, Indiana, but people were showing up from other places that had power, but they were coming for like the free stuff. So people were mad about that.
That's
People were saying,
sad.
that shit's greedy. You're not even struggling right now.
That's
Why are you
sad.
here? This is for folks in Gary.
That is sad.
Then you had other people who were upset, other races of people. They felt like, you know what, it's not fair that he's only catering to the black community. We don't have lights here in Puerto Rico. We ran out of water.
Damn.
You had other white people that were in Indiana who were saying, well, hey, our white town of, I think, Muster.
So this is my second day feeling better from being
Indiana,
sick.
we don't
At
have
first I
power
couldn't
either.
breathe.
Why is
My
he not
throat
coming
was getting
here?
clogged,
This
but
shouldn't be about race. So basically,
my
it was a lot
nose,
of
I could breathe now. At first my nose was so dry.
and
It was
people
like,
were feeling away. Like, well, he needs to come here. He needs to come there.
I'm so
we're gonna
glad I
watch
could
some of these clips of
breathe.
Of people addressing the situation. And I'm gonna kind of break down some more stuff as well.
I had so much cold in my
Give me
throat.
just a second.
So thank everybody who's been praying for me. I probably wasn't praying for me. Like, fuck me. I don't know. But if you were,
I was reading something in the
I love you
comments.
guys.
People in Gary telling some people, that they shouldn't show
So I'm
up.
gonna continue to drink
and if their
tea.
lights not on, they should not be there.
And flush
stuff
my
like
body.
that. First of all, half of Gary and most of the surrounding areas have power. Like, it's only maybe under like 10,000 people left without power. It's not a lot of people that's left. Yes, that is still a lot, but it's not as nearly as much as it was in the beginning. So to tell people that they shouldn't show up when we all have been through this traumatic situation, where we all experience our lights being out, we all experience, living in the dark. We've all had this shared experience. So to be entitled and say, oh, you guys don't show up if your power isn't out. Don't show up we all experience this. This is the craziest part. And then now, like, y'all super entitled. Oh, no, we've been doing this. We were, like, that's what it gives when it be coming down to Gary sometimes. Like, I'm sorry. Like, y'all be like, oh, no, this is mine. This is mine. Or you guys don't help. What? Mirabelle stay helping Gary. You guys are sister cousins to each other. So you can't help. Any of the June 11th, when we was going through our stuff, and part of Gary was affected. Gary was coming to Maryville for the resources. When they was passing out free food, I was talking to a lady in line. She said she lived in Gary. So please, like, stop that. People can't come in other surrounding areas. Like, yes, they can, and I hope y'all do show up. East Chicago, Munster, Maryville, Crown Point. Go to Gary and get yourself some free food and free supplies. Like, get out of here. And I was reading.
So like I said, that was a big deal. You had a lot of people in Gary arguing with people in other cities saying don't come.
You smart.
Gary, Indiana thing, child.
Thanks to Domino's, I can do 2 jobs at the same time.
You smart, friend.
Explore breathtaking, strange worlds. Make a friend who work for you. Build your dream home together. You've changed. That's okay. Once human, jump in today.
blame me. Because I say, because y'all on your own. Because he didn't have to do it. Wasn't nobody thinking about Gary, Indiana, until Keith opened up his mouth. I'm not no spokesperson for him. I'm one of them ones, when I see wrong, when wrong is wrong, it's just wrong. But it's not that I'm just going around looking for stuff, or, well, I heard they were saying no. I'm actually seeing videos of people saying they don't need him here. He shouldn't have came here. He not doing nothing to help us get our life. So he ain't the one that created the dang tornado. He ain't create the tornado. He didn't cause the rain to fall. He didn't cause trees to come up out the ground. That man is not God. That's the part that I don't get. He ain't God.
All right, I got a few more clips.
So Gary, Indiana does not have any power, and Keith Lee spoke on this and saying that he was going to come there and try to figure out what he can do to try to help people, this, that, and the third. Because, you know, his food tour was in the Midwest, and so he wanted to go out there and see if he could help. Now, of course, you're going to have some bitter people that are just mad for being mad. The fact that some of y'all are talking trash about Keith Lee and not your elected officials, like, it is crazy to me. Crazy to me. Oh, it's a publicity stunt. Oh, if you ain't bringing no electrician, oh, you ain't doing this, you ain't doing that. The fact he's bringing attention to it, that's the part. He's bringing attention to it. Because I don't know if y'all guys see what's going on. There's certain things that are happening in certain states and certain cities that is literally, like, they're like on TikTok, you know how normally it was spread out? It seems like a lot of that stuff is getting contained within that region and not spreading out, you know, to know what's going on anymore. And it's only going to get worse from here. I'm telling y'all that. So the fact that he even found out about it and was able to speak up about it, because this already been going on, if I'm not mistaken, for a couple weeks before he said anything, and before he even found out about it, or before a lot of us found out about it. There's going to be certain things they're not going to let outside of a bubble, or at least they're going to try to. So y'all.
So as you see, it's just been a mess. I want to find this news clip where they were interviewing Keith. Let me see. Okay, here it is. This is when he showed up to Gary, and even the news was like interviewing him as well.
You created this event. Are you satisfied with the turnout? What are people telling you?
It wasn't me. It was the people of Gary, Indiana. If it wasn't for y'all keeping stories out on social media, this would have never been possible. If it wasn't for God, it wouldn't be possible. I'm just a platform. I take no credit for this. I'm just doing what I feel like I'm supposed to do. Shout out to the people of Gary, Indiana. It wouldn't be possible without y'all. We're resilient. We are the most resilient people in the world. And we're going to continue to show that. And we're going to show no matter what darkness we're in, we can be a community. We can come out. It's been no violence. Everybody out here smiling, laughing. First, I want to start by saying shout out to every single person that's here. I know that's not restoring the power. I know this is only a little token of what it is that we can do. But y'all being here in a moment like this, and the darkness, and the things that y'all been going through, I appreciate y'all more than words can express. Y'all hear me? Indiana will not be forgotten about. I take no credit for this, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. If it wasn't for the people in Gary, Indiana, getting the story out, getting the pain that y'all been going through out, this city is 90% us. And we will never be forgotten about. And as long as I got lungs and I got air in them, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to make sure any community that look like mine will not be underdeserved or underprivileged. I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. God bless y'all, man. This is not a Keith Lee event. This is a Gary, Indiana event. Gary, this in no way or shape is this about us. This is about the community. This is about y'all. This is about the people. And I appreciate y'all. God bless y'all, man.
All right. So let me come back up. Just for the life of me, I'm trying to figure out where all the Keith Lee hate comes from. You know, I watched Keith Lee off and on for a few years. I know, like, my youngest son really likes Keith Lee. Like, he's the one who first put me on him. And from everything I've seen over the years, I've seen nothing but genuineness from him. He's not involved in any controversy. I think he had the little BET incident, but that was it. You know, and the fact that he went out his way to come out there and just help says a lot. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying it's not a Keith Lee event. I'm just here to help. I'm just here to be a vessel. And the problem is, you're not going to make everybody happy. So let me say this to the people of other races who are saying that, you know, he made this a race thing, you know, he's only helping the black community in Gary. Do y'all get upset when Asians only help the Asian community, or when Latinos only help the Latino community, or when, you know, Jewish people only help their community? I mean, do y'all get upset? Do y'all have think pieces on TikTok? Or do you just say, oh, that's the Asian community looking out for its own? He wanted to look out. He didn't go there specifically. I'm just here to help black folks. But Gary, Indiana is a 90% black city. Keith Lee is a black man who has a huge platform. So if he can use his platform and everything else to help black people who have literally been suffering for the past 2 weeks, nobody really knew what was going on outside of certain pockets of TikTok. It wasn't until people on social media started speaking out that finally the mainstream media started talking about this. So I don't understand the hate that he gets. And we also have to shout out Trey the Truth. Trey the Truth is from Houston, I believe, Houston, Texas. And he comes out a lot. He's a rapper. He comes out a lot to help the community. He's done a lot for the community. He's been out there in Gary also giving out water and food and, you know, just trying to help people. So shout out to him as well. I think what people need to, who y'all really need to question, instead of saying, why isn't he helping the entire Indiana? Why isn't he helping Puerto Rico? You know, hey, Memphis is in the dark. We need help too. Last time I checked, neither Keith Lee or Trey the Truth were FEMA. And last time I checked, Gary, Indiana is a red state, a proud red state. I remember a few months ago when FEMA was being gutted, and a lot of people on social media were laughing. They thought FEMA was waste, fraud, and abuse. Now you guys understand why FEMA was there. This would be something that FEMA would come to and help and set up tents. There is no FEMA right now. But last time I checked, Keith Lee is not FEMA. He is one man. He's a father and a husband. He's just trying to do the best that he can do. Nobody has all the answers. Nobody has all the solutions. Last time I also checked, Keith Lee is not the governor of Indiana. Why do y'all have think pieces and smoke for a random influencer with a platform who's trying to help than your own governor in Indiana? Because as quiet as it's kept, there's been a lot of, you know, conspiracies coming out that the reason why Gary's going through what they're going through is because they done sold Gary, Indiana to a certain section of people, and then people are more worried about the data centers. Because one thing that I've noticed with all of these storms, because remember Long Beach, they lost power on Sunday. I don't know if Long Beach is back up, but they lost power on Sunday. Long Beach, Memphis, Gary, and so many other cities that I'm missing. One thing that did not lose power is the AI data centers. And like I told somebody in the comment section, they're not going to lose power. They have backup generator upon backup generator upon backup generator. You will lose power before that AI data center loses power. They had too much money tied up into that. So people need to have smoke for the mayor and the governor of Indiana. The fact that the governor is just now, as of yesterday, declaring this a state of emergency, but you got Black folks in Gary, Indiana, who have been suffering for the past, this is day 14. Why wasn't this called a state of emergency way earlier? Is it because it's mainly affecting a certain pocket of the population? I find that interesting. At the end of the day, this man he's not an elected official. He's a food influencer. Nothing more, nothing less. He did what he can do. It's not his job to bring, linemen out there to fix the electrical, cords and the electrical wiring. He didn't say he was coming with a whole bunch of linemen from, I don't know what state he lives in. He said he was coming with food and music and drinks and, necessities. He didn't say he was coming with the power company and that he was going to jump up in one of the power trucks and jump up there himself and start fixing the electrical problems. We got to stop putting all of our anger and our frustrations on one person who has really no power. He's just a Black man in America. He has no power. The most power he has is to tell you that this chicken is trash or it's good. That's the extent of Keith Lee's power. So y'all need to take it out on the correct individuals and not Keith Lee and his family. I don't know. I just didn't like that. I didn't like all the criticism, all the clout chasing, all the weirdness. They just came to help out. And beggars can't be choosers. They're doing what they can. They're trying to help people. Hopefully the power will start coming on more and more. But even with that, like I've been saying, that's not something that's going to happen overnight. This is very dangerous. You're talking about a storm. You're talking about live wires. You're talking about men and women who are putting their lives on the line to restore power. I think if a lot of people knew how a lot of jobs worked, they would understand. A lot of people seem to think that when the power's out, all you need to do is have a crackhead climb up the line and just, flip the switch and you have power. That's not how it works. This is not like stealing cable back in the 90s. Shout out to everybody who got free cable back in the 90s, okay? Pay crackhead $25, he go up there, rig some shit, you have cable. This is not that, okay? The poles are down. The wires are, broken. It's going to take some time to fix all that. And again, you only have so many linemen who can go up there and do that. Why? Because the trades are dying. For years, they promoted white collar jobs and influencer work. And now that these storms are becoming more and more frequent, they don't have enough people in those positions. Like I said before, all of the older men who are in the electrical field, the journeymen, the linemen, stuff like that, a lot of them are retiring, quitting, things like that. Who is going to replace them? These are real conversations that we need to have because the infrastructure, like I've been saying for years, is aging. Don't forget, I live in Minneapolis where the bridge collapsed over 10 years ago. The 35 bridge. It was just in 2023, there was another bridge collapse that happened near Baltimore. So all of this infrastructure is aging. They're only meant to last so many years. All they've been doing is patching it up. God forbid it gets hacked, it's really going to be a wrap. So I just think that people, again, I get the frustration. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have power for 14 days. I get the frustration. I get the anger. I'm not trying to minimize it. What I'm saying is have that anger, have that energy towards people who can actually make a change, which is the politicians, not the food influencers and not the rappers. So that's my thought about the situation. You know, thank you, Keith Lee, for going out there on behalf of the people in Gary and helping out. Shout out to everybody who was out there, you know, volunteering and helping set up stands and, you know, making sure that people got hot meals and showers and stuff like that, because he couldn't have done it all by himself. So shout out to everybody who went out there with positive energy to help and to make sure that things, you know, went smoothly, which they did. So, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot going on out here. What time is it? I've been out here for two and a half hours. Okay, let me read these last few super chats here. Fijian Mommy says, hey, I'm from Gary, Indiana. Thank you for the super chat. I hope you're doing good. I hope you have your power. I know it's been a lot going on in Gary, so y'all, I'm exhausted. This has been a great stream. I hope, you know, y'all learned a wealth of information. I hope I broke down every story for y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and supporting. I'll probably be back with some more videos on Thursday. So I'll talk to everybody later. Everybody have a good evening. Bye, y'all. Love you guys. It's the Love is Easy Show, bringing you good tea and good